What is going on, Kingsman? Welcome back to the NTW3 Battlefield. Are you guys ready to see some of the drippiest, the greatest looking uniforms the French have to offer, in my opinion? Well, these are the cores for them. We'll look at how professional and probably how amazing, it was not a good shot, how amazing these uniforms are. I don't know, this is my favorite cores by far. I mean, especially the Grenadiers, if I can find them. With like the red tops. Here we go. The Grenadiers. There's two different types. There's the ones with like the bear skin, the super top hats, like Carabineers, and there's a regular. Oh man, these cores are some of the most beautiful cores. Man, there's already artillery firing. But that's my opinion. And you have Bavaria and Württemberg, which actually have some very gorgeous uniforms as well. Now, this is an 8-point Bavaria, a 6-point Württemberg. Now, definitely you do not see either of these factions in customs anymore, sadly. I was very sad to see both of those go. Didn't play a lot of Württemberg, wish I had. Played a lot of Bavaria. But then, of course, you have two French factions as well. You have the 11-point Eugen and 10-point Massena. Now, they're going up against 3 Austrian armies and 1 UK army. I do believe someone said that there were 1809 corps. Oh, we have a Austrian line already kind of contesting some high ground here. Now, this is the map Montebello, and I haven't seen this map in a minute. It has some fun terrain here. So usually if the French can, they set up on this hill, and there's a nice little river that is like a hot spot for contesting, and then of course a hill on the other side. The coalition usually range all their guns along it. And then, of course, the town is always a vicious fight. There's one little bridge here. And then, of course, another river crossing on the other side. So, yeah, I mean, the Austrians are not seeming to be falling back. Usually, they will run away to this side. I mean, if you look at the LOCs, the 2-pointer and 1-pointer are both in the town. The 2-pointer kind of in a commanding presence on the field. They have a lot of... This is, like, where the general would want to stay and be able to overlook the battlefield. Another 1-pointer right over here. Austria does appear to have it. Then, of course, another 1-pointer for the French, and then 2 more 1-pointers behind the Austrian lines. Now, of course, like I said, the Austrians seem to be ranged in a massive line here, which there's only 2 armies up here. The other Austrian army right over here, which I'm assuming that's its cavalry. And then, of course, the UK way in the back to reinforce. We are seeing, like I said, a heavy cav presence from Austria. That is going to be something the French are going to have to deal with. Now, the French do not have a lot of cav. I think Bavaria, actually, and Württemberg have more of the cavalry on the field than the French do. The French are bringing some dragoons and some chasseurs cheval. I believe they have a carabiniere as well. I'm going to find it. There it is. And then another dragoon. So they don't have a lot. I think 4 total, maybe 5 total for both French armies. Bavaria has a couple. You can see some dragoons and some chevaliers, as well as the Württemberg. They have at least 4 cav units that are all clustering over here. A lot of just mix of kind of like the chevaliers. A lot of artillery already kind of firing from the Austrian side. Really starting to focus down that cavalry. You can see this unit has already taken some losses, but they're going to start pushing forward. More horse artillery. I saw some from Bavaria as well. A 3-gun horse artillery battery. That's going to be an expensive, I imagine, battery. But very, very useful. You guys have, you have to utilize your horse artillery properly. They are supposed to be quick moving, so you set them up, kind of push back the cav, you limber them up and run them around to another flank, and you get those nice, juicy shots off, especially on cavalry, especially in the beginning. But you kind of tap them on the flanks because they do move very fast. They can actually outrun cav, light cav that's chasing them down usually. Well, maybe not outrun them, but if they're close to cav, you can get them away, and there's nothing you can do. Now the French, Massena pushing forward here. You see Massena also pushing a lot on the flank as we have our first little skirmish here. Austria actually getting kind of hit pretty hard. A lot of light infantry in Massena's line. And Austria's probably not going to want this. They are very heavily outnumbered here. And you see also Massena has some of their artillery 12-pounders set up. Nice little angle here they can fire. I don't know what Austria's plan is. Maybe they plan on trying to hold this hill until reinforcements push, or this right flank, this Austrian army right here. Like I said, there's 2 Austrian armies. For now, they are going up against almost equal strength. Ooh, we actually may have a potential skirmisher getting charged. Nope, they're going to actually maybe fire. Ooh, let's see if they get any of them. No, I don't think they do. Oh, maybe they are going to go for... Oh, they called their bluff. Saw that they didn't commit the cavalry too much, and now these skirmishers getting caught in this a little bit, although actually these chasseurs cheval took that cav fight quite well. But still the raging fight happening right here, guys. This French line doing a beautiful job. Does appear they may be actually taking some losses. Yeah, man, these units are getting whittled down. Austria just has chunkier units. And now that they are in their kind of rhythm, they're just sitting there pouring down fire. And my goodness, look at this other Austrian line. They have some grenadiers backing up that front line. That is going to definitely be tough for the French to actually impact with melee, as they'll be able to counter it with some nice reserves. And the massive fusion, though, rolling down towards this bridge. I'm going to assume that Austria has some sort of defense here. And we are not yet seeing any Austrian advance. We may see the infantry pushing across here. Who knows? But that river's going to slow down considerably. And we may see a massive attack being made on Austria. Austria hopefully will fall back from this. They do not want to get hit by a column of assault by Eugen. Now over here, we do have some Fusiliers of the Guard that did break. I mean, they were a pretty small unit to begin with, 65 men. They are half casualties. That's pretty normal to break at that number. And you can see they definitely are going to pull back as Austria's starting to actually pressure that side quite a lot. I mean, then we have 4, maybe 5 units total. But still, they definitely have the numbers. Artillery setting up kind of the center here, so they're going to maybe try to use that. I mean, this hill is not the greatest of terrain to fire across. Now they can fire at an angle, but they're probably, this artillery piece can only fire this direction. This one probably won't be able to fire this direction. We are seeing, oh gosh, my computer may crash. This is a lot of troops in one small area. You can see they're actually forming up in multiple areas at once to face the other Austrian line. Alright, so it does look like the French are going to try to push across the river here. It just looks like Austria has a whole lot of defense. They have a small reserve line, some grenadiers, actually 2 different reserves of grenadiers here that can try to stop them. This LOC is tough to fight for, and we may actually see a potential cav charge by Austria. Maybe. There's a lot of troops in this one little area. My goodness. Now you can see this artillery. Oh my gosh, they really hit this Austrian line hard. And they're going to force them to fall back. Reserves now. They have the Carabiniers and the more infantry pushing forward. Here is that Grenadier unit that I was talking about, guys. Look at the drip. Look at how beautiful these guys look. The uniforms. I would wear a French uniform that would look like that. You know? But back to the real action here. So Austria actually has a flanking fire, trying to shoot the French as they try pushing through. But France going for the LOC. They're even pushing out here to kind of... Are they going for a gen? Oh, is this Liechtenstein? This looks like Liechtenstein. But they're going for a potential Austrian general. The rest of the Austrians are still rushing to get across the bridge here. France probably is going to take this, which actually maybe the... Oh, hold that thought. Hold that thought. We have a Austrian cav charge. Carabiniers meeting them in the midway point as they try to take... Austria's trying to take out this artillery piece, and they do not succeed. However, we are seeing a lot more heavy cavalry and grenadiers. Oh, no, that's not even grenadiers. That's regular Austrians going in against some light infantry of France. So Austria is looking to be making a big move here. Probably France is going to need to shift a lot of forces over to kind of stop this. This is actually a very serious charge here. You got those cuirassiers going, I don't know what. Oh no, they're going for Messina. There he is right there. Can he get away? He'll get away, but still, that's terrifying. You almost lose your general. And Austria, they are actually going in for melee. Now, Württemberg pushing up, trying to really put pressure on this Austrian flank. Over on this side, you do see France has definitely taken this town already, even pushing troops across to the river. Austria is now going to set up a defensive line on this side as the town, for the moment, is lost. And this Austrian army, they're stuck on this side, guys. France looks to me maybe a total encirclement, maybe, of this Austrian line. Now, Austria, man, they really wrecked this French line. Now, France is not dead yet. Even over here, definitely France is not dead. They have taken some losses, but Württemberg pushing quite heavily on that left flank, really easing the pressure that the French were having. And they still have their grenadiers and carabiniers, their best melee troops, still here. Oh, they don't have a square nearby. But over on this side now, you have Bavaria trying to reinforce Messina as Austria starts rushing forward here. We have some line infantry of Bavaria rushing in. We have line infantry of Austria rushing in on both sides. A melee. Oh, I missed this. Dragoons went in for the melee, and now Eugen is going to push forward with line infantry, really closing in for that melee. He has troops pushing across that river to start getting that volley on the flank. Now, those Dragoons did break, as it looks like Austria had some cavalry as well, and this is grenadiers from Bavaria, or from, not Bavaria, from Austria, so not exactly going to be the easiest melee for France, but still putting a lot of pressure on the Austrians. Over on this side, Austria still in that melee, trying to use their heavy cav to support their lines, but with Bavaria on the flank, and Württemberg pushing on the far flank, some Austrians may have overextended their line, and now they are going to try to retreat while the French try to, you know, get whatever they can out of that exploit. Now, this clash did not go ideal for France. You can see here, I mean, they did break one or two units, but Austria, well, they did pretty well. However, this flank by Eugen is why they're pulling back. They cannot deal with fire from two different sides at once. Now, we look at the grand scheme of things. We have a bit of a cav fight here. So, Dragoons clashing with some Chevaliers. Here come... Oh, no. The UK seems to be here. That's a very good light hussar unit. That's right. I forgot the UK weren't here yet, huh?
Our men are running, sir.
This turned into disastrous French cav clash here. Now we have Bavaria still trying to save it, but not looking too good there. If you look here, Bavaria still up in melee here. France still pushing as hard as they can to not let the Austrians get away, even going across the river. That's going to slow them down, though, and Austria probably can get away, and France has got to watch out this cav doesn't roll them over. Okay, it looks like a square was formed by Austria, breaking a Württemberg cav unit. Austria actually seems to be doing quite well. They have done quite well. This cav fight has quieted down. Bavaria managing to save some of their artillery, and at least on the flank. And now Austria is actually pushing that flank, so France, they're going to have probably a small contingent just to hold that retreating line. The rest are going to keep falling back. We do have, yep, looks like Grenadiers now going to get in a charge with some French lines. As Austria, yep, Austria, this is what I was worried about. Austria's going to go for a counter charge to stop the French pushing their flank. Ooh, another cav charge. More Dragoons going for the Austrian line as Austria is just pulling back on all fronts except for on this far flank where they're actually pushing. And where's the UK, guys? Eugen's got to be watch out. This 3 units could easily get just surrounded by a UK machine gun equivalent and broken. It looks like Austria's not doing too hot here now, as Eugen has managed to close the gap here. Another melee. as Austria is still trying to dislocate themselves, extract themselves from this push, and you can see, actually, I mean, they are actually maybe going to. Württemberg may cut off part of this. They got to move really fast with France if they want to cut off this chunk of Austria. We are starting to see some, ooh, actually, hold that thought. We may have a Gen snipe. Nope, there's the Gen. I think he's safe. I do believe, yep, he is safe. And we have the UK now pushing on the flank. Why isn't the UK just going straight at this French army that is sitting right here? I feel like they should just go straight in here instead of going across the river. Like at least a couple units, but either way, the coalition's actually is separated here. So they are on two sides. Obviously, the majority of the French, you see here, the majority of the French, oh, that's way too laggy, are pushing the two Austrian armies still here. And then you have another Austrian, and the two armies basically, the two armies of the coalition are split in two, and the French are basically focusing almost the entire of their might on these two Austrian armies. Probably with a heavy cav and lines, they probably want to focus down these armies first. These probably are the most dangerous for the French. Unfortunately, the coalition has been split in two, and the one downfall to the coalition is they probably don't have very fast maneuverability. Like, their troops probably are, maybe there's some L5s, but probably L3 is probably the average of their army still, if I were to guess. Now here we go. So we have the French getting flanked a little bit here. I don't know why the UK are going far side instead of pushing to help their ally over here. Ah, it's beautiful though. Look at that.
Our men are running, sir.
Wow. And then of course you have the rest of the Bavarians. Bavaria pushing with, what is this, mostly, yeah, it's actually split between Messina and Eugen. We have a brave Austrian line, some lights I believe, that are going to put up a initial stop. You have the rest of the French just advancing over the hill. They're going in another direction. As Austria is just constantly on the retreat. I mean, this is a tricky situation. Like, there's nothing you can do. As Austria, there's nothing you truly can do. You are being attacked on all flanks. If you stop to fight, you're dead. If you're running away, you're just going to be more slowly dead. Maybe. Maybe they can make some sort of win here. Forming a square. Unfortunately, Württemberg cavalry not going to make an impact. In fact, they're getting shot on the flank by the Austrians. Beautifully done, breaking yet another Imperial Cav unit, so less Cav to deal with. Now, I'm not sure if Austria is planning on making their stand here. I can't tell if they're going to sacrifice some units to then get further away from the French. Messina and Eugen pushing with, I mean, okay, so looks like the Imperials are going to fight two fronts now. I think they feel like they have enough to be able to make a real push here. I'm going to expect that Austria may try to make a stand around this LOC. When they have this LOC, I would pull back even to here. We'll see what they do. Their cavalry, I don't know exactly where it is. If you look at the French army, I mean, they have a decent amount of squares, so they would be safe against a heavy cav charge. Still, some of the units are kind of depleted, and Austria is now standing the ground with some grenadiers. Not just average Austrian infantry guys. This grenadiers, not going to be very easy melee. Now over here, Austria has ranged themselves up in a line of battle, pouring in some volleys. The UK still have yet to really make a heavy presence on the field. We're starting to see trickles of them. It's actually a huge disadvantage for them to have the UK so far back. Bavaria may actually be trying to go for an attack on Austria. Over here, I feel like we're about to have a melee of sorts as well. Some Chasseurs Cheval trying. Oh, we have lines going in for a square. The square actually pouring in some nice volleys here. Oh my goodness. Now they did form a square. You can see guys getting tossed here, but still they broke They're trying to defend this line, guys. They are trying. Austria's trying to do their best. I'm actually rather impressed by how well this Austrian line has held so far. I wonder if this is a Deutsch... No, this is a Grenadier. Look at that, though. They're shooting them in the face. This square is holding up against 2 charges now. Give that unit a medal. I just realized it's only 20 minutes of this battle so far. How time flies when you're having fun. The rest of the UK haven't really even formed up yet to fight here. The UK need to get in here quickly. Oh, what is happening here? Some lines were forgotten about. Austria needs to pull back towards the UK. This is not a fight they should probably be taking. They should be waiting for the UK to get up. That UK accuracy shooting is going to be perfect.
We've taken the building, sir.
Oh, we have some heavy cav going in. Can they form squares? Oh, they went for the wrong... this Austria went for the wrong unit, that's all. Still, a lot of cavalry making their presence known here. Chester Cheval trying to stop that flanking fire by those grenadiers. Not the kind of effective cav charge you'd expect, but it is light cav, guys, so it's not going to make much of an impact. It's just going to tie him up. Unfortunately, it worked, and he probably should just get them out of there before they just break. Over here, it looks like they've made some distance, thankfully, so I can keep covering this part of the fight. You have this LOC fight raging grenadiers in here. Now, like, this LOC guy is very tough. As you can see, the French are fighting in the courtyard, and they're getting shot from inside the house. These units are still shooting at the others. It's just, these kind of LOCs are really hard to take. It becomes quite annoying to actually fight for these. I mean, France may not even take it with the first unit. Here we go, another cav charge. Austria finally getting an effective cav charge right into this French line. And now they're tied up. Heavy cuirassiers going in. Beautifully done. France is really feeling the heat. Nice flanking volleys by the French, though. Still, Austria making their presence once again known, reminding them that they still have quite a lot of power to still throw at them. And for once, France does not have the heavy cav advantage here. Yeah, they're starting to break. You can see already. We have some dragoons going to go in to try to save this line, and they're going to get hit by some cuirassiers as Austria keeps pushing on that flank. These guys are so close to each other. This is so weird. Ooh, they're going to break that grenadier. Yeah, I see France has not taken its LOC. Like I said, guys, LOC is really tough. It's not an easy thing to take. The UK have finally gotten into a line, an orderly line, and they're going to advance to the attack. They have to make some real progress if they want to win this fight, guys. They are not winning over here. It's still very back and forth, but I feel like Austria may still not take this. Just the numbers. Actually, France is almost gone here, actually. Yeah, France still made a couple units left. It's mostly up to Württemberg. I guess actually there's still some French units in the center. But Austria seems to have less. They have more cav than anything, but Austria seems to have done quite well here with that counterattack. Well executed. Definitely well executed by the Austrians. And the UK are up. We will see how well Bavaria and some Messina take on this UK. UK have some of the Highlanders. I'm assuming they have some Toros. Or Coldstream. Whenever you see large units, maybe it's different with this corps. The corps could be different, but usually large chunky units of UK mean guard units. But for this corps, it may just be they have large units. But I'm going to assume that's guard units in the front lines. In Bavaria does not have the numbers to deal with this UK accurate fast fire. We'll see. We'll see. You never know. Man, the volleys, guys, are just... It seems like the volleys are very regular, like all firing at once. Ooh, that artillery now from Württemberg really gonna change the course of these events. Oh, the Imperatrice forming a square. Austria, unfortunately, not gonna.
We have killed their general. Now they must break.
Ooh. Oh no. That is unfortunate. I mean, they're going for a last desperate charge here. There's too many squares to deal with. Württemberg going in from the rear. This may be Austria's last line of defense. The other Austrian general pulling together. I mean, these Austrian generals fought bravely together. Seem to support each other quite well. Over here, man, this is not the greatest of line fights. Bavaria definitely has more units in the line than the coalition do. And they seem to be chopping up the UK, actually. Although you can see France definitely breaking here. The UK making some headway. Still, I think the rest of Austria is going to die here. Just because, you know, caught out. Oh, there's the general. And he dies. Slain on the field of battle. Bravely fighting with his men. So Data L and Skirms in the house were the ones over here on this side. Which means it was Foo's and Signature for the end of stats. They're the ones over here on this side, then I would assume. At this point, I think it's just a bit of a line fight. Which I think the UK will lose eventually. You see, they've actually lost a lot already. Bavaria has some of their best troops in this front line, I think. But France definitely is breaking on this flank. They need to pay attention to this. I mean, they probably are in two spots at once. Still. They just gotta hold off and wait for reinforcements to push up. Oh, no wonder. Some of the best light infantry, the grasshoppers over here. Yep, here come the reinforcing French, though. After that bloody victory with Austria, they're now going to roll back towards this UK force. I feel like if the UK hadn't been so far back, maybe it would have changed. I was surprised. I'm not saying it was a bad thing, but I was surprised that Austria held this hill. Maybe they want to try something different, because it is pretty common for the coalition to just run away from the spot and hold this hill, then it becomes a very boring fight. But once France got into the town, that may have been the time to actually fall back as Austria. Now maybe at that point they couldn't. I mean, where are they going to go? I'm surprised. Like when I first saw the French go across, I would have immediately fallen back and tried to reform here. That way they can't get around you. I don't think it really mattered. This whole flank over here, I don't think mattered too much. However, they did rush up here, and it did threaten their flank a lot. Still, the center battle did very well for Austria in the beginning, using a lot of heavy cav. Just the squares were unfortunately too much for them. And the fact that there was 4 armies at one time on them. You know, it took 4 armies almost to take down 2. That's some good play right there. So some heavy cav going in from melee. We may actually have, yep, we may have some French melee pretty soon here. Yeah, man, the UK kind of spread out a little bit. We have 6 units over here. I'm not sure. That's all right. You know, you can't fix everything. I think if the coalition had been all together, maybe they would have made a little bit more of a dent. However, Bavaria actually seems to be quite the opponent for the UK. The UK are pretty small. I'm sure they're not high pointer either. You see Bavaria actually doing quite well. This is one of the reasons I like Bavaria. You could stick them in a line fight with most factions, and you just brought so much. You brought so much that was decent quality that you could just tank. You could take some losses in a line fight, but ultimately it would just be death. Now we do have the French assault column coming in here, so France looking to make a melee charge here, I'd imagine. Now I wouldn't, that's some odd orders to give someone to make them run here. The UK can just turn around and shoot you in the face, but oh my goodness. Oh no, the UK general's like, oh, run away. Oh, and the UK have been caught. Oh, wow. Okay. Seems like a lot of units on this one French unit. Okay, the UK just needs... Okay, they need to make a stand. Because as soon as they get to the river, they try crossing, they are going to get meleeed here. The French running to try to catch them, not advised. They are going to be very tired by the time they get into melee. Hopefully it won't matter. Still, that's a long way to make them run. Think about how exhausted you'd be running all this way. Maybe, yeah, looks like the British are going to go down without trying to fight too much longer.
Our men are running.
Wow, look at that. Just an advance. I kind of feel like this battle kind of turned into a Fim blob. Like both sides seem to be cheating at the same time mutually. Well, it's not a go well for the UK to try to do that, but you know. Oh well. It won't matter. It won't matter. You can't Fim a blob of Frenchmen.
We have killed their general, sir. Now they must.
And that will be the battle, basically. As the French roll over victoriously, I believe that will be it. 1 or 2 units are left on the field, but that is about the extent of it, so I may just skip to the end so we guys can see the results of this battle. Alright guys, so as you can see on the French side, you have TT Ross with 1599 for the kills, Jackal with 1246. So they were Messina and Eugen. I honestly don't remember which one is which. I think Eugen is TT Ross, but I'm not totally sure. Then, of course, you have Young with 543 as Württemberg and bring back Militia as Bavaria with 985. Other side, Data L and put Skirm in the house. They both were the ones who were isolated on one side and died first, but obviously they took down a lot of enemies with them. 1329 for Data and 1383 for Skirm. Man, that's quite well done. Signature arrived late. Maybe he had a big army too. Pretty decently sized army. 732 for the kills, and then Fus was the Austria on that side with 425. So definitely I loved the Austrian-French clash up on the hillside. That was beautiful. Unfortunately, the Austrians kind of got 4v2'd. So there's not a whole lot I feel like you could have done in that situation, but still well played on all sides. and a very good battle. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank y'all so much for joining me. You guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, and as always, I will catch you all in another video.